Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR today for January 21st, 2021. I'm the man they call Meathead. And is this level 13 of Jumanji? Are we in overtime? Is this like an encore edition? Who's to say? But joining us on Thursday mornings, as he does now every Thursday morning until we change it again the next time, is Matthew Thomas. Good morning, Matthew.
Good morning. I'm always happy to play Jumanji with you, or Chutes and Ladders, or Candyland, or Life, or Monopoly, or Hungry Hungry Hippos.
The two games that we got at the house right now that are getting some regular rotation is Sorry and Trouble.
You know what? I actually never had either one of those.
So they're kind of the same premise. You're running around a board, and you can get knocked off the board by landing on something or somebody landing on you. Trouble's the cool one with the push bubble in the middle.
That's what I was. You know what? Actually, I have played that because I was going to ask you if one of them contained the push bubble, because I always like that. That's the little dice, the little die.
The one die in there,
bubble,
and
right?
it pushes up and it bounces around.
Man, that must have been what I had. Or was there another one that? No, it wasn't Trouble. There was another very popular game that had the push bubble.
Yeah, I don't know. Life had the spinning plastic wheel.
Yeah.
Where if you spun it too hard, it jumped off the board.
Yeah, I don't think it. Yeah, maybe it was Trouble. Which one has the little game pieces that are like kind of plump on the bottom and like really skinny up top?
That's a game that we can't talk about here on the program. That's for After Dark. But yeah, we've had a bunch of them that are plump on the bottom.
Fantastic.
Well, let's talk about something that's not plump on the bottom, and it's my manscaping zone, brought to you by manscaped.com. 20% off with the promo code PWR from manscaped.com, and make sure you get yourself silky smooth, like our friend Dave Hero says to us all the time, plus our friends over at collarandelbowbrand.com. Buenos Hermanos, and we're going to talk about them again today. They didn't have the shirt on, but they were on television last night. The Good Brothers from Impact Wrestling, the tag team champions, sporting the latest and greatest from collarandelbowbrand.com. The promo code PWR360 will get you 10% off, plus the free shipping as well. So, Matthew, two big shows last night on television. We had AEW and we had Dynamite. Then we had NXT from WWE. We're going to start with Dynamite. And like I mentioned, we had an appearance from Impact again last night. It was the Good Brothers putting a beatdown on the Lucha Brothers in the back with Kenny Omega. Real quick, your thoughts on the back and forth with the teams from other companies showing up? How did this one go over for you?
It's fun. I enjoyed it. We got more backstage stuff with Omega and the Bucks and Don Callis, and I like what they continue to do with this. It makes it feel fun. It makes it feel special, and you don't quite know what you're going to get yet. But it was it's interesting because AEW right now, they've got Dark, but WWE
has matches on Dark too. Did you see the ticker? They had like 10 matches on there.
It's a crazy amount, but I'll be the first to say I don't traditionally watch Dark, but you feel like there is more. You feel like there are more threads running through AEW right now with what they're doing with the talent from Impact. So this is fun.
Okay, well, the show kicked off right away with -1, Brody Lee Jr.'s birthday. Brody Gorilla is his name. -1 with the birthday celebration, and he cuts the promos, all promos. I still love that. I mean, it doesn't feel to me that they're taking advantage of having them on TV or, milking a situation. I just love that they're really just involving the kid, the mom, the family, because they lost their king, not king, but they.
Exactly. I mean, it's a child who just lost his father, and if they feel like they can be of any help through this awful time, and give the kid some joy, that's what they're doing. That's how it comes off to me anyway.
Yeah, and, John Silver looks at the cake and he says Johnny Hungy, because that may be one of those underlying lines that just make me pop. I kind of laugh every time I hear Johnny Hungy.
Well, John Silver in general, I mean, the new screen time that he's getting, I mean, it's interesting because, I mean, prior to everything with the passing of Brody Lee, you were starting to see him and some members of the Dark Order kind of pop out. It wasn't it no longer necessarily looked
Right,
like
it was
this
Silver
kind
and
of,
Alex Reynolds.
yeah, this, very similar looking deal with people under hoods. And now that, they are getting more screen time, you are seeing more personalities come out. And the Dark Order has really, a couple things going on here. I think it's almost impossible to have them as a heel stable at this juncture, but you're giving more screen time to a lot of these guys. And yeah, especially, Silver, I'm really enjoying.
There was a promise that the Hangman Adam Page was going to join the Dark Order last night as well. The match ended up being Hangman Adam Page and the Dark Order, Reynolds, Colt Cabana, and John Silver taking on TH2, Angelico and Jack Evans, and the Chaos Project, Luther and Serpentico. Luther and Serpentico interrupt the birthday celebration for -1. Luther gets the cake spot, after -1 hits him with a kendo stick. I kind of enjoy that. I mean, it's not Marco's stunt, because Marco's stunt will just run at you, but it's almost the same size where he comes and hits you with the kendo, and then literally 5 people stand in front of him. So, I mean,
here's the thing: the spots where he's used the kendo stick, he lays it in, man.
Yeah,
I mean, those are some pretty stiff shots.
It's pretty funny. So the match ends up, with the talk. Adam Page worked well with Dark Order, okay? John Silver got on his knees and asked Page, will you join the Dark Order? The premature he said yes, and the music and the people coming out was so corny. Wonderful. I liked it. It was funny.
Wonderful. And we talked about this yesterday, and we talked about how everybody,
and that's why I'm leading it to you. It's all you.
Yeah. Everybody and their brother has a stable in AEW. And how Page, of all people, needed to be the lone guy. And this shows you how good of a job they are doing now with the Dark Order. When he turned it down, after I gave that commentary yesterday, I was kind of disappointed.
Did you hear the line from -1? He swatted Serpentico with a wad of papers after the match and said, my birthday was 3 days ago, you idiots.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And here's the thing, too. Like, his delivery is so on point.
Yeah.
It's not he's not just recycling lines. Like,
yeah,
his delivery and his emphasis is spot on.
Yeah. I want him to take a break in a little bit and have fun now. I want him to go away for a little bit and just go, live life. But if this is fun for you right now and this is fine and they don't mind having him around and the TV, I mean, it's fine, but I don't want to see him grow up the whole entire time. I want to see 20 years of it, right?
Here's my question to you. And we see that WWE has done a very good job tribute-wise to Brody Lee, to Luke Harper.
Better than I thought they would.
Does he go away for a little while? And is he in the Rumble?
Get out of here with that.
I'm just saying.
So WWE is going to do their thing like when they had Haku or, whatever his name was in WCW, be in the Rumble while he's still the current WCW hardcore champion. And that's what you're saying?
It's possible.
Pete Rose was in the Rumble.
If there was anybody that would cross over promotion-wise to WWE,
-1.
Be -1.
Yeah. I did notice that Tony Schiavone should probably not be a ring announcer. His ring introductions of Sting and Darby Allin were not the best. Save that for Justin Roberts. Go back and do commentary, Tony. You're way better at it. But what did you think of the setup between it was Sting first, then Darby Allin, the TNT champion, Taz and Team Taz coming out. You want to take it to the streets? You want to go hard? You want to go nasty? Balls in your court, bitches. What do you got?
It was what it needed to be. What we're trying to get over here is Sting and Darby Allin are buddies, and I think that does exponential things for Darby Allin.
I have a bone to pick with it. Excalibur yelled out a challenge was laid out by Team Taz, and it seems like Sting and Darby Allin have accepted. No, they didn't. All Darby Allin says, be careful what you wish for, you may get it. When did they say Sting was wrestling?
Yeah,
I think they're leading us too far in that. Sting didn't say anything.
And if they did, they would I think it would be a little bit more in your face. However, if he is going to wrestle, I would think it would be in something like that, where it's a street fight where you can kind of, not be, but
Yeah.
so physical.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe there is something there.
Hey, real quick, normally I wouldn't stop on this segment, but we're going to stop here. The Bucks looking for Kenny, and they get stopped by the invisible hand, Don Callis. Don Callis tries to pay him off and says, look, Kenny's busy now. Here's 10K, kid. Here you go. And apparently there's super kicks to Don Callis's face.
Don Callis is right now, to me, one of the more enjoyable people on the microphone in professional wrestling.
Really? Okay.
Mm-hmm. He's playing that character of himself just so well. And
Turned
everything,
up.
Yeah. Everything just comes across. And I mean, it's an interesting angle. So it's got that novelty working there. But my goodness, especially the oil painting tonight. I mean, I got to
what they did is they
painted
Matthew. They painted Kenny and Don's faces over our bodies.
Yeah, that's exactly. And just even the pose, even just the leaning on his shoulder pose. Yeah. That's what we need. We need to commission one of those of you and I. And I think you need to get that. That needs to be a special gift from all of the PWR team for if you do happen to pull off your draft win, which or your draft victory. I don't know that that's what's going to. I need to talk to you about some potential moves that I'm going to make as well. But if that does happen, I think that's a suitable prize for you.
I think so. Now, it's funny that we have Manscaped as a sponsor because Pretty Peter had a match last night on AEW. And again, Manscaped making sure you have a Pretty Peter as he took up one-on-one with Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, with the Enforcer there. More Jade Cargill, more action with Jade Cargill, and the response to Shaq next week is going to happen on Dynamite as well. Cody will respond to Shaq. Do you think there's finally going to be a match with Shaq and Cody?
I don't know what they're going to do. I really don't have any interest in it. I mean, you
had more interest in a Pretty Peter.
Yeah, I do. I really do. And I thought he might sneak away with the victory tonight. You had a
sneaky Pretty Peter?
A sneaky Pretty Peter. Let me ask you this. Has he just given up on has he lost his library card? Because I heard nothing mentioned tonight about his love of books or literature. So if they completely abandoned the library,
I don't know, but I mean, he hadn't been on in a while, and he had a 5-match winning streak on Dark, so that's how he got in here. But literally, the walk into this match was Cody said he could beat him in a minute.
Yeah.
Wait. Did Cody say he could beat his Pretty Peter in under a minute?
Yeah, he can beat Pretty Peter in a minute.
It depends on what you're watching, I guess. Well, hey, it is what it is. Moxley's back. Let's talk about Nick Camarotto in his Dynamite debut. That dude looks impressive. I want to see more of that guy, and I want to see him beat on people.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And, this is kind of what AEW's had some interesting booking with newer talent. We saw it for multiple consecutive weeks with the tag teams that the Bucks were facing. That was how a lot of these teams were getting their start. It wasn't, in a jobber match. It was, okay, we're going to throw you in there with top tier talent right off the bat. And you can make a case for it both ways. You're most likely these people are not going to pick up the victories, but do they come out all the better for hanging with an established talent versus, beating an unrecognizable talent? I don't know. We had a squash match on NXT tonight with Karrion Kross, so you can kind of compare and contrast there. But it's interesting. I liked what I saw of him, but at the same time, we're kind of going back to the drawing board with Moxley. It seems like there's been a little bit of a reset button hit there. Not really.
Well, they're not touching the AEW Heavyweight Championship right now. They're just letting Kenny be the champion.
That's true. We are going to get him and Kenny mixing it up in a 6-man here in a few weeks. So
yeah. Matt Hardy and Private Party taking on Matt Sydal and Top Flight. I love the team of Top Flight. These are brothers, Dante and Darius Martin. Big Money Matt's way of thinking has rubbed off on Private Party because they attack Seidel and Top Flight after the match and after the win.
Was this the first time in this AEW run that we've gotten the moniker Big Money Matt?
In AEW, yes. It was mentioned Tuesday night on Impact. So
because that was, Big Money Matt was the Matt Hardy character prior to Broken Matt Hardy. Big Money Matt merged into Broken Matt during that Impact run. So it's very interesting. I tell you, I mean, it just how many characters he's kind of interwoven in his AEW run. Add another one to the list.
Yeah. Hey, I want to talk about this real quick. He was dressed as a butler. I'm like, wow, did they shy away from the young boy thing? Did they hear the PWR today and like, we should probably call him a butler instead? Yeah. No, you know what? They mentioned it a little bit in commentary, but they said because he's his young boy, he can make him be a butler or whatever he wants him to be. So they're trying to shy away from it, but at least built a bridge instead of just starting over again on the other side of the street. So wasn't bad.
Yeah, it was better than I thought. I still think the whole Miro run has been one of the worst. Somebody established comes in from another company. This juncture, I think the job WWE has done with Retribution is better than what they've done with Miro.
Okay, main event. Ortiz and Santana, Jericho MJF, Sammy Guevara, and Jake Hager. By the way, it's Sammy Hager now. And starting off the match, a cameo by Sammy Hager, which was fantastic. Of course, that's got to happen. The Red Rocker came out and said something. Did you feel at the end of this match, and they're mentioning it during commentary, this is, I guess, TV time, and they're running right up to where they want to take it off, and they were over TV time. And then, boom, pinfall, we're out of here. Something didn't feel right there.
Yeah, first of all, this set has set the bar really high for Team Matt Damien, so I've got some work to do. And second of all, what I liked about this was the right match to say for the main event. Really hard match to predict, and a lot of very invested false finishes because you really just did not know which direction this was going to go. They took it down to the wire. They had to get off TV as soon as the thing was over with, but I'm looking forward to the storylines that are coming out with Jericho and MJF being the Inner Circle's tag team. I think this will be fun.
All right, let's go NXT. First off, Beth Phoenix back in the building at Full Sail or Performance Center. I forget which one they're in. Capital Wrestling Center. But Beth Phoenix back in the building. Glad to see her back. The opening match of Leon Ruff and Kushida taking on Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory from The Way. They played it up as in Gargano and Theory should have been favorites. Well, they're not in the tournament anymore. Leon Ruff and Kushida defeat them in the first round of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic.
One thing I really like about tournament wrestling is we had several things like this tonight where you're surprised, and then it just really opens up the possibility for what is going to happen in the rest of the tournament. So
let's go to the other one right away and have you talk about that too. Lucha House Party defeats Imperium.
Yeah, I don't think we're expecting to see Lucha House Party advancing in an NXT tournament, but we got it.
But didn't we? Shouldn't we though? Because again, we know that all three brands are the same, but Lucha House Party's up on the big brand, so they shouldn't be coming down and losing.
And I think this is an example of them basically trying to stick it to people like us where, in theory, your established brand should beat, the person on NXT. But you're saying, okay, this is just them coming down for a one-off type of deal here and not really expecting the NXT brand to lose here. But they did.
They also had a women's Dusty Classic started off last night as well. Casey Cantanzero and Kaden Carter defeat Toni Storm and Mercedes Martinez. That looked like an upset as well because you would think Toni Storm and Mercedes Martinez were the established team.
Exactly. Another upset. So what I'm seeing here is, with these people who did not win tonight, you probably have other things planned for them that are not necessarily related to a tag team. So that's probably where the booking's going there.
Yeah, and you talked about the squash already, Karrion Kross going right through Ashante the Adonis. But let's talk about Bronson Reed and Tyler Rust. Tyler Rust has a manager, but it's not going to help him because Malcolm Bivens couldn't give him any advice that was going to stop Bronson Reed from blowing right through that dude. Does he have a lion or like a snake or a monster on his shoulders?
Very well might. He very well might. I do want to go back a little bit to Karrion Kross. Really interesting here. I mean, I don't know if he's cool. I don't want to say he's cooled off, but I feel like this is his first run. He's having these matches with enhancement talent and he's blowing right through them. And it's so interesting that it's interesting that he's where he's at. I mean, you had the matchup with Damian Priest, but I'm just very curious to see how this plays out in the next few months. Or do we read this as potentially a surprise Rumble appearance?
Possibly. To be completely honest, last night's NXT felt like it was devoid of stars.
Yeah.
Except for Finn Balor and the segment with the Undisputed Era. And that's
Dunne. And I mean, we're very wrestling, tournament wrestling heavy on NXT. And that's the flip side to that. And I think that's why you've had such, hot and cold periods with things like with promotions like Ring of Honor in the past, where you can have the best sports simulation in the world, but my goodness, you're expecting that star power and you're expecting individual separate angles to kind of draw people in and further fulfill that sports entertainment need.
See, Daddy, where's the money?
Exactly. And that's what you potentially lose when you go too much of a sports feel.
Yeah, and AEW has a women's tag team tournament coming. Or no, I'm sorry, women's eliminator gauntlet coming up as well.
Exactly.
In Miami Heat or Miami Beach Heat or whatever they got coming up in 2 weeks on AEW on Dynamite. Main event, Timothy Thatcher defeats Tommaso Ciampa in a fight pit. This was brutal, and it was gnarly, and at the end, Ciampa had to tap the Thatcher.
That's big news. A couple things out of this match. I could have done without starting on the top, because to me that took away a little bit of the first of all, they're not that high up there, so kind of the scaffold illusion you're going for is just not there, and you limit the brutality, you limit what they can do when they're trying not to take a misstep, and risk a horrific injury. So could have done without that part. Once they got into the fight pit, I really liked the aesthetic of it and the look. And I like, new concept matches, and we do not get them. We don't get them that much. I mean, I guess the last new concept match that really stuck was Elimination Chamber. And we saw the first one of those, in 2003. So
created by Chris Jericho.
Yeah, we're going back almost 20 years on your new concept matches that really stick. But Timothy, anybody making Tommaso Ciampa tap out is huge. And, Thatcher coming out.
I mean, it's not like, there were shenanigans in there. Anymore.
Because, I mean, he has been booked traditionally as one of, if not the toughest guy in NXT.
Yeah.
And that is, I think they went a long way to making a star in Thatcher tonight, or last night, rather.
Yeah. Well, that's it. We got a little bit of news with The Undertaker and the Joe Rogan podcast, but we are out of time. So what I ask you folks to do is go ahead and listen to the Joe Rogan podcast, take a listen and think, see how did The Undertaker sound? How did it go? What did you like? What did you not like? And then we'll get to that as soon as we get it listened to as well. So Matthew Thomas, we will talk to you tomorrow morning. So for Matthew, I'm the man they call Meathead. Hey, thanks for stopping by. So long, everyone.